Have you ever felt like your prayers are perhaps a little bit paralyzed? Maybe they're just hitting the ceiling and bouncing back. You might be doing the talking, but you're not sure anyone else is listening. And you're certainly not sure how to hear a response. Today we are answering the question, how do I talk to God and hear Him? And by the end of today's episode, you will understand that loop of connection and how to start a dialogue exactly where you are without needing a perfect life first. We're going to help you solve prayer paralysis by showing you how to recognize God's answers in everything from butterflies to sunsets, and why your next deep breath might be the key to hearing His whisper. We're moving from a silent ceiling to a shared conversation. Stay tuned. Ordinary women, extraordinary faith. When God calls, we say yes. The Arise Women of God podcast. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Arise Women of God podcast. I'm your host, Tamara K. Anderson, and joining me today is the fantabulous Wendi Christensen, my co-founder of Women Warriors of Light and an amazing Christian counselor. And today we're breaking down the mechanics of a two-way relationship with heaven. First, we're going to discuss step 1 of our roadmap to revelation, which is starting exactly where you are. God doesn't need a polished version of you. He just needs you. Second, Wendi shares why butterfly answers are real and expand your awareness to see God's hand in a variety of ways. Third, we'll talk about the law of the tree and the power of stillness, why we have to pause our own chatter to let heaven speak. But let's kick it off by starting exactly where you are. So sometimes we feel like, oh, but in order to approach God, I have to A, B, C, and D. Nope. I want you to just throw that list in the corner. You can start where you are today and begin talking to God. I love the verse in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1 that says, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. And I want you to put your name in there, that God is talking specifically to you. I have called you, Wendi, by your name, and you are mine. And when you have that kind of loving Father, because that's who He is, you can approach Him and say, hey, I'm struggling. I need help. Or I want to have a better conversation with you. Can we talk? You don't have to have fancy words or anything like that. Just start where you are today and begin the conversation. Isn't it great to know that you don't have to wait to have it all put together? But once you start talking, the next step is learning how God talks back. And Wendi has noticed that God's returning part of the loop is often a lot more creative than we might expect.
I get different answers, and that's okay too. But the biggest thing is to be aware of how God could be talking to them, because answers can come in such a variety of ways. I have a friend that she sees God through butterflies. So she'll go into, I remember one time she sent me a picture. I was in an airport and she said, go into the women's bathroom at the airport because you'll see God there. And I was like, what? And I walked into the bathroom and there was this huge mosaic picture of a butterfly. And I was like, oh, it's the butterfly. I noticed it. And that's how she sees God in her life. And I love that she has that. I like to see Him through sunsets or through another friend saying something kind to me or noticing a struggle or a challenge or saying something that I needed that day. That's God speaking back to me. Sometimes it isn't always just me kneeling down and hearing. So, yes, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And so my counsel or my advice would be just be aware and start looking and noticing, because God's answers can also come in a huge variety of ways. And the more aware you are, the more you'll see Him answering you.
Isn't it great to know that He answers in a multitude of ways? But sometimes we miss those butterfly moments. If our internal world is too noisy, this is where we have to practice the law of the tree, letting things grow slowly, and sometimes while we're in a bit of a lull or quiet time. And there's a beautiful verse that goes with that in Psalm 46:10 that says, "Be still and know that I am God." So it's important, if we're desiring that communion with God, that we make time for stillness when He can speak back to us. Because we read in the scriptures that He speaks to us often through a still small voice or through peace. And if we constantly have the chatter going of daily life, there's so much music and podcasts, and some of it is so good. Like, for example, this podcast, you're listening to it right now. There's a lot of good, but it's also important that we have time for stillness, because God will speak to us in whispers that won't speak louder than the stuff that we have going on, scrolling through social media or something like that.
And I think you can be still just even in a place that's loud. You can be still. You can just pause and take a deep breath. And I find when I just take a deep breath, it recenters me and it just grounds me. Like, deep breath in and then just exhale and have it be a little longer, excuse me, than your inhale. And even just a simple breath, I feel like I'm pausing, I'm being still, and I'm listening to God. But you're right. Many times my favorite place to be still and listen to God is in the car. I'll turn the radio off and I'll just start talking to Him in the car and just pouring out my heart and then just listening. And again, it could be in things I see around me where I see Him showing up. It could be in that calm feeling that I feel in my heart, right? Or it could be, just in the sunset that I see, that it's just a multitude of ways that He can respond and act. But you're right. We need to find a moment of calmness and quietness.
As Mother Teresa said, in the silence of the heart, God speaks. My friend, the loop is not broken. It just requires you to pause long enough to receive what is being sent. If you're ready to complete that loop in your own life, we want to give you those exact steps. You can download our free Roadmap to Revelation, 6 Steps to Hearing God in Your Daily Life, and our Receiving Light and Revelation audio meditation by Wendi. It's an audio download, and both are free by clicking the link below. You don't have to walk this path alone. Join us and let's hear Him together. He is speaking, and He will teach you how to hear Him as you ask Him. So until next time, my friends, may you arise. Do it God's way, God strong.